Not rain nor wind, nor more rain nor more wind could prevent this ground crew from getting everything ready to go. It's now a beautiful night for baseball, and the Rangers will take on the Cleveland Indians tonight in Game 2 of a 3-game series. The Rangers suddenly have lost 5 out of 7 and looking to shake things up tonight. We welcome you to Texas Ranger Baseball along with Tom Grieve. I'm Josh Lewin, and speaking of shaking things up, there's a definite new look to the Ranger lineup tonight, but really only for tonight.
Yeah, Michael Young, Elvis Andrus will both get the day off, at least to start the game tonight. They've played almost every game. Michael has played every game. Elvis has played every game but 3. And I think what Ron Washington would love to see is a nice, easy Ranger win so those two guys could be on the bench all night long. But if it's a close game and the Rangers need a little help later on, I'm sure Elvis is ready to play defense and Michael's ready to hit. So we'll see what happens.
In their place, Andres Blanco and Joaquin Arias, who have been like that Ben 10 cartoon character on Cartoon Network that can morph into anything you need them to be and still get the job done. That's the hope for the Rangers tonight. Josh Hamilton doesn't have to morph into anything. He's fine just the way he is. Batting 5th in the lineup once again. He's hit safely in 25 home games in a row. Hamilton and the Rangers against the Indians when we come back. Ford is the best in Texas. By Progressive. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. By Jack in the Box. Get Jack's really big chicken sandwich combo for only $3.99 plus tax. Also by Anheuser-Busch. Budweiser. Responsibility matters. And by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com. Grab your bag. It's on. We tip our hats to you, Nolan Ryan. He who predicted the 92 wins. The Rangers are on pace to do that. And right now, 3.5 games up in the AL West. The Angels are playing tonight. They're in a rain delay in Chicago. Boy, sure looked like this one would be in a rain delay too, Tag. But the the wet weather moved out, and here we go.
Came through quickly and hard.
The Rangers hoping to come through tonight and reverse a recent trend. They've got to stop a Cleveland lineup that suddenly is getting it right. A 9-3 win yesterday for these guys. Brantley leads it off. Jason Nix, the Dallas resident, with a 2-home run game last night, doubling his total for the year. Carlos Santana hit one in the upper deck yesterday. Austin Kearns was hit by 3 pitches yesterday. Peralta and Duncan, Marte and Crow. Jason Donald had a huge night last night, among many. And what was a 9-3 Cleveland win in a scant 3 hours, 42 minutes? C.J. Wilson is on the mound tonight. Will you scout him out?
16 starts overall, has gone exceptionally well. When you consider C.J. was in the bullpen last year, he's given the team innings, quality ERA. He's allowed 2 earned runs in each of his last 5 starts. 3 times in those 5 starts, he's gone 7 innings. Very low slugging percentage, and very tough for left-hand hitters to hit him, to say the very least. They're 8 for 85 against him this year.
Only one lefty in the lineup for manager Manny Acta because of that. Hamilton, Bourbon, and Cruz in the outfield. And there's that new look on the left side. The Knights off simultaneously for Young and Andrews. Blanco and Arias over there. Trainer catches C.J. Wilson. C.J.'s got to hope the haircut won't mean a difference for him tonight. He is definitely a different looking dude out there now with a lot less hair. 6 wins, 4 losses. And was supposed to pitch against these Indians way back in April. Remember, he had that food poisoning in Cleveland. Bad chicken. And he missed the chance to pitch against Justin Masterson, but he'll re-rack and get that tonight instead. Masterson, the big right-hander, going for the Tribe. Laced foul by Brantley. Yesterday, Omar Beltre needed 72 pitches to get through the first 3 innings, and that just put the Rangers in a tough spot. Beltre now is no longer here. Sent back to AAA. Doug Mathis is on his way instead. Rangers do have the need for a 5th starter again on Saturday. Matt Harrison looks to be the favorite right now to get that start.
Well, you look at Omar Beltre, and I still say that he has a chance to be an outstanding big league pitcher. His stuff is fine. He has excellent movement on his sinker. It was obvious he just didn't throw enough strikes, and he didn't have a lot of experience. He might have just been a little bit nervous, but I think he'll get another chance.
Well, and Benji Molina said as much after catching him yesterday. He said this guy's stuff is great. But you're right, it's not a polished enough product right now.
It'd be nice to be in a position where he could just keep going out there until he relaxed and got things under control. But 2 starts and a total of less than 6 innings just puts too much pressure on the bullpen.
Two and 2 the count to Brantley. On a humid night here at the ballpark. Temperature's okay. As in not 102, but 84 and humid. With those storms having rolled through here not too long ago.
It's a perfect night for a player. You get loose. It's not too hot. Not that windy. Perfect night to play ball.
At 4:24 this afternoon, this is what you would have been sitting in here at the ballpark. Lower right corner, that poor guy took a header with that wind, trying to keep the tarp on the field.
They're out there in a thunder and lightning storm trying to get the tarp back on the field. Well, Brantley's having a great at bat here against CJ.
Well, and the Indians picking it up right where they left off yesterday, and it's been, I think, for 3 years now here, Tom, this team, no matter how good or bad they are, no matter who their personnel is, they come here and they are the king of the foul ball. Boy, they just have 8, 9, 10 pitch at bats seemingly up and down the order. CJ now looking at 3-2. Six rookies on this Indians team. They are a young group, no doubt. Brantley to left. Hamilton back, and finally C.J. wings out. Took him 10 pitches, but he got it done.
Yeah, when you combine that at bat with the fact that left-hand hitters are 8 for 85, hitting less than 100 against C.J. with a lot of good swings and a pretty solid line drive to left field. That was a nice at bat, but bottom line is he's 0 for 1. The other side of it, it took C.J. 10 pitches to get him out.
Jason Nix turned into a superhero last night. Couple of home runs. The Indians ended up with a season-high 4 for the game. It's a guy that made it to the Rockies. First time he got to the big leagues. Clint Hurdle was his manager when he first broke into the majors. And of course, Clint now the esteemed Rangers hitting coach. And he's frustrated along with everybody else right now. Suddenly the Rangers are not hitting, but as we were talking about last night, Tag, that's not unusual. I don't care who you are. You're going to have a stretch where it's just not happening. The Rangers happen to be in that stretch right now. Jason Nix hits another one way up there. That's 4 home runs in his last 4 games. That's a legit shot right there.
Well, you keep throwing him fastballs belt high and on the inside half of the plate, you're giving him a chance to do it.
Goodness.
That's what he hit last night, a couple of fastballs, and there's a fastball looked like belt high and inside half of the plate, and you wouldn't expect it, but he did it again.
3 homers in this series, 4 in the last 4 days. Now, Nix is a guy that in the minors years and years ago had a 21-homer season in the California League, but nothing on his resume suggests that he's been able to do that at the big league level. He's got, boy, in his last 5 at-bats in this series, Tag, he's got 3 home runs.
CJ was trying to get that ball in on the corner or slightly off the plate, and he never got it there. It pretty much was right down the middle of the plate. That's probably the difference between maybe a ball off the handle that doesn't go anywhere or what happened, a home run.
No doubt about it. Shot. CJ had come in having allowed only 6 home runs all year.
The White Sox probably wish they kept Jason now. Indians claimed him on waivers a short time ago. Been playing pretty well for him.
Well, the 2 Jasons in their lineup now, Nix and Donald. The Rangers just can't get him out. Outside to Santana, who had an upper deck home run yesterday. He's catching a pitching staff that's been terrific. He's hitting everything. This is some kind of call-up for Cleveland. He's walked more than he has struck out. There's not a lot of rookies that come up and do that right away, but he's got 19 walks and 14 strikeouts.
And 19 walks have come in only 74 at-bats.
And now he's got another one. Not the start you wanted from C.J. Wilson tonight. The Rangers needed 6 innings out of the bullpen last night. They're counting on C.J. to move it along quickly tonight. Throw a minimum of pitches.
We talked about C.J.'s last 5 starts. His ERA is under 3. He's pitching very well. But the one thing he has done is he's walked a lot of batters. He's walked 24 batters over 38 innings in the last 5 starts. He's pitched around those walks and pitched very well. He's only given up 2 earned runs in each start. But if you're looking for ways to pitch deeper into the game, cut your pitches down, and pitch even better, cutting down on the walks would be one way.
Here's Austin Kearns, who was a magnet for getting hit by pitches yesterday. It happened to him 3 times. That is a Cleveland Indians record. They've been around for more than 100 years. That had never happened before. And that was certainly a first for Kearns, too. No matter where he's played. He was hit with 5 pitches all of last year. Last night he got it 3 times, and then there was apparently what looked like some retaliation that came shortly after that, even though 2 of those 3 HBPs were just glancing blows. And CJ needed that. He strikes out Austin Kearns. Elvis Andrus was thrown behind, I mean way behind last night by Chris Perez.
And to me, that pitch was so insignificant, it's meaningless when you throw a pitch that far away from a hitter. I mean, if you're trying to send a message, I guess if I'm the hitter, I appreciate it very much.
At least you didn't get it buried in your ribs,
yeah.
right?
If he buried it in his ribs, there might have been a problem, because there was nothing in that game that indicated retaliation. The Indians won the game easily. Didn't even try to get out of the way of 2 of those pitches. The other one was by a guy struggling with his control.
That ball fouled. Of course, there was that play as well, totally inadvertent at first base, where Elvis collided with Matt Laporta, and Laporta went down like a sack of potatoes.
Yeah, and that's absolutely nobody's fault. So if you come into the game and you really feel like the other team has one coming, you didn't accomplish much by throwing it 8 feet away from it.
Peralta takes in too tight. He's only 1 of 10 lifetime against CJ. Towards center, but a bit off the end of the bat. 26 pitches in the inning, but only 1 of them really hurt. That was another home run by Jason Nix. Rangers coming up against Justin Masterson next. Innings at one point, matter of fact, and won the game by a half a dozen runs. Now the Rangers trying to fight back with a new look lineup tonight. Arias is in there at short. First time we'll see Joaquin starting at shortstop, and he's batting in between Bourbon and Kinsler. Then Guerrero and Hamilton. Congrats. It was pretty obvious that he was going to get that award for Player of the Month, but it's official today. Cruz hitting .305, Smoke only .205. Then it's Trainer and Blanco instead of Young at third base. We'll talk more about the days off for both Andrus and Young in a moment. But first, the large right-hander Justin Masterson.
He's pitched, I think, better than his numbers would show. He's 3-7. His ERA is coming down. His first part of the season didn't go quite as well. First 10 starts, his ERA was .587. But lately, he's thrown the ball well. His last 6 starts, .351 ERA. He's a sidearmer with good velocity, good movement, and he should get a lot of ground balls when he's throwing well.
Yep, you saw the stat. He leads the majors in that ratio. 3.5 ground balls for every 1 fly ball.
If you look at his last 6 starts over the last month, he has a couple of gems mixed in there. One was a 2-hit shutout against the Red Sox, his former team. No one reached second base in that game. Another one was his last start. He took another shutout into the 9th inning. Ended up giving up 1 run in 8 1/3. So 2 of his last 5 or 6 starts have really been nice starts. And don't be fooled by the ERA or the record. He's only 3-7.
9 strikeout game against the Rangers when he faced them back in mid-April. In fact, he struck out 4 of the last 5 Rangers that he faced. Masterson, believe it or not, is Jamaica born. Born in Kingston, Jamaica. Raised in Beaver Creek, Ohio. It'd be hard pressed to find 2 more opposite ports of call than Kingston, Jamaica and Beaver Creek, Ohio. His dad doing some missionary work down there, and Justin was born in Jamaica, but at the age of 2 they moved back to the States. And as you mentioned, Tom used to be with the Red Sox. That was that Victor Martinez deal that had him coming the other way. Big, strong guy with that long kind of sidearm action. Nice high leg kick. Has the big slider. He'll absorb this one off the bat of Arias. 2 ground ball outs to start his night. Crow, Brantley, and Kearns roam the outfield for the Tribe. They are 16 games under 500, by the way. They got 2 Jasons up the middle. Carlos Santana, speaking of the Victor Martinez trade, he is a budding Victor Martinez, right down to that uniform number. Switch hitting catcher. Here's the on-base machine, Mr. Kinsler. He will take on the outside corner, strike 1. More walks and strikeouts for the season for Ian. He'll chop a ground ball. Masterson, the big guy, goes and gets it. Marte came off the bag. And Ian reaches yet again.
It should be an infield hit.
That would get his batting average up to about 307, 308 if that's the case. Tom, the last 4 weeks, his on-base percentage now is north of 480.
Masterson probably a little more time. He's a big guy, though. Tries to get his body under control. He would have gotten it there in plenty of time, but it pulled the first baseman off the bag. That is, I think, an infield hit.
Ruled as such, and here's Guerrero, who swings wildly.
You can see why Masterson should be very tough on right-hand hitters with that last pitch. He's very tall, long arms, sidearm delivery, and has that sweeping breaking ball to go with a hard sinker.
And there again, Vladdy quickly behind. You saw the note. He's 1 for 10 lifetime against Masterson. If that's the pitch he's thrown him, those other 10 at bats, that's pretty obvious. Look at Santana setting up way outside. And he hit the target, but that's a good 5 inches off the plate. Nothing close to hittable yet for Big Bad Vlad. With those 70 runs batted in. Right up the line. Santana lobs over Guerrero's shoulder to end the inning. 3 ground ball outs, and even the 1 hit was just a little ground ball. 1-0 Cleveland at the end of 1. the first inning fan cam and see who's enjoying the game in a cold Budweiser. Budweiser, it's what we do. Crowd of about 20,000 turning out tonight. I'm sure it's scared away a bit by the wet weather. To keep that crowd down a little, 1-0 Cleveland. We go to Jim Knox.
All right, thanks, Josh. Community Corner tonight. We have Bob and Barbara from Relief Quest International. Bob, tell us a little bit about this.
Well, Relief Quest International, we do work all over the world. We're a volunteer organization. We're based here in Dallas, Texas. We'd love to have you come volunteer with us, experience what it's like to give from your heart, and to help people in dire need. Check us out, reliefquest.com. and reliefquest.org. We're a nonprofit here in Dallas.
There you go. We'll keep up the great work. You see the information on your screen, and those want to get involved, go ahead and give them a call or log on. Thanks a lot, Bob and Barbara. Thank you. Josh.
Thank you, Jim. Second inning of work now for C.J. Wilson. He's facing the DH, Shelly Duncan. White Sox had a guy named Diane. Here come the Indians with a guy named Shelly. The Orioles are next. Their DH's name is Jennifer. Shelly Duncan's the son of Dave Duncan, former Indian in the mid-'70s. Back in the Charlie Spikes, Oscar Gamble seasons, George Hendrick. When they wore those all-red uniforms. Duncan can play a little bit. He just kind of needs an opportunity. The Indians giving him the chance here to be the DH against left-handers. Of course, Travis Hafner is going to have that role against righties. I think Ken Aspromonte was the manager of the Indians in 73 and 74, right before Frank Robinson got there. Duncan lines out. And Ranger fans, the Rangers are hot. It's getting hotter, so beat the heat and cool off with a $1 any size soft drink or sweet tea at McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it. It'll be nice to see a nice, quick little bounce back inning here for CJ, huh?
Yeah, CJ's pitch count was way up there in the first inning, but all it takes is a couple of quick innings, and you're right back where you want it to be. Brantley had a nice at-bat, though, a 10-pitch at-bat to start the game off.
Brantley's one of those guys who's patient, and then he'll just start firing away once he's going in that at-bat. He's one of those guys that never swings at the first pitch. But is usually up there for a while. Kind of a budding Bobby Abreu. Abreu and the Angels we mentioned are rain delayed in Chicago right now. If that one gets underway, we'll keep you posted. Now, hopefully the White Sox tag can stay hot at the expense of the Angels. Help the Rangers out a little bit. Well, they did that yesterday. The White Sox pretty much did to the Angels what the Indians did to the Rangers. Similar finals yesterday, 9-2 and 9-3. And CJ's rolling now.
That was a good cutter right there that Marte missed. Slider, whatever you want to call it.
Again, Marte playing tonight because they're still being cautious with Matt Laporta. That collision at first base got the elbow from Elvis Andrus inadvertently. Remember, Laporta in the Olympics in 08 had a pretty nasty concussion, got hit in the helmet with a pitch. And I think the Indians forever will be cautious anytime there's anything related to the head regarding Laporta. They're going to just take that day and make sure he's okay. Now CJ's starting to fling in those strikes now. 0-2 to Crow.
Sliders and curveballs.
Ripped. Boy, Bowen has got it. Pretty good contact on 0-2.
That's an 0-2 fastball right down the middle. He got away with it.
He did, and it stays 1-0. Hamilton coming up. And drilling one. Left center field. That's going to get up and out. Home run.
Man, you didn't even have time to finish the promo.
Not like one sentence out.
I didn't even see the pitch.
Didn't stay in the ballpark long, son.
Could at least waited a pitch to do that, Josh.
21 home runs is tied for the major league lead. And had they used replay 2 months ago, and overturned a double, made it a home run, he would have the major league lead. There's the pitch.
It's on the outside corner, and he drove it the other way. Something that's not a surprise, what he's been doing all year. Just barely got it out over the blue sign there.
The Indians, as a team, had allowed just one home run their last 75 innings. And the first pitch of this second inning, Josh hits it out, ties the game 1-1.
No, the Indians are on a nice roll as far as their pitching goes, but it's not a staff that's going to resemble one of the best staffs in baseball. They're just on a pretty nice roll right now, trying to develop for the future.
They've won 7 out of 9. Towards second and picked up there by Jason Nix. All right, now, if you go to TexasRangers.com/All-Star, you can cast your 2010 All-Star Game final vote, sponsored by Sprint. Help send Michael to the All-Star Game. The Rangers are cross-promoting with the Washington Nationals. They've got a third baseman they're trying to get in, Ryan Zimmerman. So the deal is you can do the whole third base ticket, if you will. National League, you vote for Zimmerman. American League, you vote for Young. Ranger fans will do that. Nationals fans will do that, and everybody wins. Hands across America.
It's interesting to watch guys that play every day when they have an off day, because they're not used to being in that position, and it's kind of uncomfortable. Don't know what to do.
Masterson up with it.
Can't hit one over his head.
No, he's 6'6", unfortunately, and Smoke continues to hit in some tough luck. One for his last 28.
Man, that one hit last night was almost something that was robbed. Donald dove for it and almost caught it. Keep swinging. You keep hitting the ball solidly, and eventually they will start to fall in. You can't guide the ball. You can't make them fall in. All you can do is take good swings, put the ball in play, try to hit it as hard as you can. And I'm not trying to suggest that Justin should be hitting 300 or anything right now, but He's hitting 205, but the contact adds up to something better than that. He's just hitting in some bad luck right now.
Josh Hamilton, though, meantime, 15 of his 21 home runs now tag right here in this ballpark, and he's hit safely in his last 26 games in a row here in Arlington. History of this ballpark, nobody's had a longer streak than that. And Hambone now with that hit, he's up to a .342 batting average. He is 2 points away from leading the American League in batting average. Trainer draws a walk. Blanco coming up. On your forward leaderboard at the old ballpark, Al Oliver went 30 in a row way back in 1981. At the new ballpark, it was Pudge and Michael Young at 23. Now it's Josh at 26.
You look at a guy like Masterson, and you make the assumption that he's tougher on righties than he is lefties, and that assumption would be true in this case. Righties are hitting around 247 against him. Lefties are hitting 314. Rangers will have 4 batters hitting left-handed today: Blanco, Smoke, Hamilton, and Bourbon.
A planned day off for Michael Young is something that he and Ron Washington talked about. There should be a day to take off. Blanco scoring one towards third. Nice play in the pick by Marte.
Beautiful play.
Now Peralta leads American League third baseman in fielding percentage. Like Michael Young, moved from short to third. Doing a nice job. Josh Hamilton's home run has tied it. It's 1-1. Brought to you by Geico Insurance, where 15 minutes can save you 15% on car insurance. By AT&T. See what's new from AT&T. Go to att.com. And by Whataburger, just like you like it. Josh Hamilton ties for the Major League lead with his 21st home run of the year. Heading to the All-Star game as a starter. Rangers and the Indians tied tonight 1-1. Clearing skies. Same 2 teams tomorrow. Don't forget, 7:05 first pitch, $1 hot dog night. Hope you're making plans to come on out, see the Rangers and the Indians. C.J. Wilson back to work now. And Jason Donald on base 5 times last night with a career-high 4 hits and a walk. The most famous base hit that Jason Donald will probably ever have, Tom, is that one that came at the very end of a game against the Tigers. Armando Galarraga on the mound. Jim Zoyster, first base umpire. Hustling down the line. And you know the rest. The perfect game that woulda, shoulda, coulda been. Jason Donald's hustle.
I didn't realize that was Jason Donald.
Yeah, I mean, that led to...
So focused on Galarraga.
Right.
I didn't have any idea who the hitter was.
Imagine if he was a little slower or wasn't so quick out of the box.
Well, he does run well, so that complicated things for sure.
Jim Joyce's life would be so much easier. Galarraga would have a perfect game. That guy's fault. Now, CJ, 8 out of 9 first pitch strikes to start his evening. I don't know if maybe he wasn't wobbled a bit, tagged by that 10-pitch at bat that opened up. Jason Nix followed with the long home run, then he walked Santana. He just kind of seemed rattled there for a moment, but now things seem fine again.
Yeah, unfortunately, he made a bad pitch to a hot hitter. Jason Nix is, if you throw it, at least in these 2 games, belt high in the inside half of the plate, he hits it out of the ballpark. And that's what CJ did. He was trying to get it inside and didn't quite get it there. Be careful with Jason Nix right now with the streak he's in.
Popped up, Trainer pursues, and so does Smoke. It'll be Justin Smoke's ball.
That's getting it in there. That's where he was trying to throw the ball to Jason Nix. He did get it in there on Donald.
Now the top of the order, Michael Brantley. We mentioned Brantley's one of those first pitch takers. 48 at bats now this year, and he has swung at the first pitch once.
I think one of the most impressive things about CJ as a starter this year is the way he grinds out pitch after pitch after pitch for his 100 pitches. There's some games where he might walk 4, might have some base runners, might give up some runs early, but he concentrates, he battles, he goes right after the hitters, even if he doesn't have his best command, even if he doesn't have his best stuff. And more often than not, he gets through the game and gives you a chance to win, and better. 2 earned runs in his last 5 starts. Rangers haven't scored a lot of runs for him. He might have more wins to show for it. I think he's doing a lot of things that you might not expect from a guy converted as a reliever into a starter. Been durable.
Yep.
Taking his start every time out. And with the exception of maybe, what was that, maybe a 4-start period, maybe 5 where he struggled, he's been very consistent.
He began, as we said a couple starts ago, with an A+. I mean, he was leading the league in ERA. Quality starts his first 7 games. And you're right, the Angels then came in here and got him. It was a game where he had retired the first 10 in a row, but things just fell apart, and then they stayed falling apart for 3 or 4 more starts. You're right. And the measure of, I guess, any man is just how you bounce back from adversity. And you said it, exactly 2 runs allowed, 5 games in a row. That'll keep you in every single one of those games.
Yep. And it hasn't been a breeze. He's walked 25 batters in 40 innings. Generally, you would say, boy, he must have been in a lot of trouble. And he was in some trouble, but he's been so tough to hit. Opponents are only hitting .218 against him that he's been able to get away with a few too many walks.
Now here is Jason Nix again. 3 homers in his last 5 at bats, and 4 over his last 10. Jason, like his brother Lance, has that superfluous Y in his first names, Jayson. Brother Lance now with the Cincinnati Reds, who continue to lead the National League Central. You know, the division leaders right now in the National League, Tom, the 3 of them. Last year, those 3 teams finished a combined 40 games back.
Wow.
But this year, it's Atlanta, Cincinnati, San Diego on top. St. Louis is 2 back of Cincinnati, and I saw a note today. They don't have any road games after the All-Star break west of Houston. They're going to have a very friendly schedule down the last few months. Only 1 game back in the loss column. Inside, and Nix is hit by it. CJ leads the American League in hit batsmen now with that. Had 2 strikes on him, but just hit him in the foot. The Indians last year led the majors in being hit by pitchers by a bunch. The average team gets hit about 50 times a year. Cleveland, for some reason, got it 81 times last year. There have now been 4 hit Indians in this series. Been hit a little less in 2010. On the ground to short, Carlos Santana gives to Joaquin Arias, gives him an opportunity to get an assist from shortstop, and it stays 1-1. Out to one of those games with Coca-Cola Total family tickets. You get 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 Cokes, a parking pass, $20 in the sports park, all for as little as $60 total. TexasRangers.com or 972 Rangers. How you get those tickets, sponsored by our friends at CLE. Top of the order, Julio Bourbon, bottom 3 underway now. And Justin Masterson, the man on the mound. Last time out, a 6-1 winner against Toronto. Retired 12 straight at one point in that game. The big guy waits. The underhand flip to get Bourbon. We've seen 3 underhand flips in this game already. From pitcher to first base.
And not much in the way of hard hit balls so far, except for Hamilton's home run. You expect to see a lot of ground balls with Masterson, and that's pretty much what you're seeing. Every ball's been hit on the ground except the home run.
Arias, who had a nice game against the White Sox Saturday, his first RBI since April. His last extra base hit also in April. And getting the rare opportunity to start tonight. Another one back to Masterson. This time he'll overhand. 4 assists for Masterson already through 2 2/3. He's hogging the ball here.
Well, he's so big he can't hit one by.
6'6", 250, Justin Masterson. And now Kinsler, and he singled to the pitcher. Almost had himself a 5th assist. Ian's drawn a walk in 8 straight games as he continues to show a more discerning eye up there at the plate. The Ranger record, by the way, Toby Harrah, 16 games in a row with a walk. That is some selectivity. Pumped in there, 1-2. On appeal, no sale. Tim Cheaty, your first base umpire. Kinsler down on strikes. So Masterson getting ground balls, and now a strikeout. And it is 1-1 at the end of 3. Texas. If you'd like to learn more about Chevy's commitment to Youth League Baseball, go to ChevyTexasBaseball.com. Turning into a really nice night for baseball after all the crazy weather we saw this afternoon. Josh Hamilton's got a home run. The Rangers and the Indians are tied 1-1 tonight. C.J. Wilson will face a man that was hit by 3 pitches, actually grazed by 2 of them last night, Austin Kearns. I misspoke about C.J. Wilson a moment ago, too. Clear something up. He's now at 7 hit batsmen for the year. I know he was leading the league for a while in that department. Forgot that A.J. Burnett has now surged to 10 hit batsmen for the Yankees. A drilling spree. Jeremy Guthrie's up to 8 now, too. So update that. C.J. and Justin Masterson are actually 3rd and 4th now.
That is one category. If you want to win a category, you can win that one.
Well, sure. Just rear back and
start firing it at people.
There was a pitcher that was here not too long ago where that...
That's kind of what I had in mind.
But with CJ, a lot of those, I mean, you see him on breaking balls off of somebody's foot. My guess is, I don't have this documented in front of me, but if it's 7 hit batsmen, I'd say 5 or 6 of those are breaking balls off somebody's foot.
Yeah, and if you really want to hit someone, that's probably not what you're going to try to do. Let's see. I want to drill this guy. I think I'll drop a curveball on his foot.
A lot of them seem to be with 2 strikes, too. I mean, it's just, you know, trying to get a guy to swing at something, and it moves a little too much. Anyway, it didn't hurt CJ tonight. That was Jason Nix with 2 strikes and 2 outs, and he came back the next pitch and got Santana. A little bit outside to Peralta. Leads the National League, too, by the way. Chris Carpenter, believe it or not, has hit 10. Not a guy I would think would be that high up on the list. There's Arias with his chance to load it up at short. And he gets it done as we go to Jim Knox.
All right, thanks, Josh. You know, Ranger fans eagerly awaiting a big Saturday night game, because when the Rangers take on Baltimore before the game, the Rangers will be honoring Michael Young as their all-time hits leader. Also, the first 20,000 fans will receive this nice Michael Young hat. Everyone out here, of course, has one except this guy. He can use one right there. Very nice. Looks great on him. Don't forget to vote for Michael Young. Let's get Michael in the All-Star game. Log on to TexasRangers.com and vote Michael Young. Who are you going to vote for now? Michael Young! There we go. All right. You got till Thursday, 3 p.m. to do that. Thanks, guys. Yeah, hi, Mom, for this little guy over here. Way to go.
Yeah, less than 48 hours to go to get Michael in there. So go to TexasRangers.com. Vote as often as you like. Good pitch right there to Shelley Duncan.
It's a whole new brand of Little League, Josh, when the Little Leaguers have smartphones in their hand.
Yeah, no, I was thinking the same thing. Guys like, I'll say hi, Mom, in a second, but right now I'm talking to her on my iPhone. Duncan, again, on an off-speed pitch, can't connect. It's 1-2.
Yeah, CJ's had good breaking stuff today and a good changeup. He's thrown a number of them. That's the best way to keep people off your fastballs, to have a good changeup.
That one, though, is hammered in a left. He just went out and got that one. Had a line drive to short his first time up. There's a line drive that actually gets by short, not in the left. Show you the location of the pitch. The Jexa Energy strike zone.
That's not a bad pitch. That's what CJ, I think, was trying to do with that backdoor slider. And it really was barely on the outside corner. And Duncan leaned all the way over the plate and hit it hard in the left field. Hard to imagine that he could be able to hit that and also able to hit a good cutter, a good fastball on the inside part of the plate. But maybe just looking for something out there. In any event, a nice hit.
Now the native Dominican Andy Marte. I will give you $1,000, Tom, if you can tell me.
Thank you.
No, not. You got to earn it.
Oh.
It says here in the media guide that his favorite athlete growing up was blank. Fill in the blank.
Bobby Riggs.
You know, you're closer than I thought. Richie Sexson.
Richie Sexson.
Like all players growing up in the Dominican, they all want to grow up to be Richie Sexson.
Like the long ball.
Richie Sexson last seen charging the mound against Kaysen Gabbard a couple of years ago. And for that matter, Kaysen Gabbard last seen being charged by Richie Sexson.
Yeah, kind of lost track of Kaysen.
Marte, a strikeout victim in the second. CJ with a couple of punch-outs so far tonight. Has walked only one. Slowly hit ground ball. Blanco waits and can't handle it. Known for being an outstanding glove man, but I'm sure it's tough when you're rusty. Blanco's only played in 16 of the last 60 games for the Rangers. And the ball spun right out of his glove. The other error he has made was on opening day. Remember, he was the opening day second baseman for the Rangers with Kinsler out. First error of the game either way. Trevor Crowe will bat next. Michael available off the bench, obviously. Same with Elvis. Rangers have a strong bench tonight. David Murphy. Benji Molina. Rangers trying to right the ship. They have lost 5 of 7. But they've only lost 1 game in the standings during that tag. They go 2-5. And they only drop one game.
Yeah, fortunately, Kansas City went into Anaheim and won 2 out of 3. White Sox have won the first game of that series.
And still, the Rangers have the second best record they've ever had through 82 games. Problem right now is the hitting, of all things. When they had that 21-6 June, the team was hitting above 300. Right now in July, they're hitting 208, lowest in the American League. A lot of July left. Not a lot of panic at all that you sense. Just one of those ruts. Swinging 2-0, Crow fouls it. You got a pair of pants that color, don't you, Tag? Those greens? On 2-1. Make it 2-2. Jason Donald waits on deck, and as hot as he's been, you don't want to have to face him with men on.
Right on the corner, that overhead view from directly behind the pitcher. You really don't even need the pitch tracker to see inside or outside. Your eyes can tell you.
Yeah, but your eyes are not sponsoring the strike
good
zones.
point. And we can't tell high and low as well,
right,
as they can either. I'm not saying we don't need it. What I'm saying is I love that overhead view.
Right. Well, 3-2 with 2 on. Runners will be in motion. This becomes a pretty big mid-game pitch right here. Tied at 1. CJ brings it. And Trainer couldn't hold it. Or did he? Oh, no. He got him.
Boy, it sure looked like a foul tip.
I sure thought it was, too.
The way it bounced out of his glove.
All it was a drop third strike. Was not foul tip. And CJ is out of the inning. 1, and Vlad Guerrero steps in to lead it off for the Rangers here. Bottom of the 4th. Josh Hamilton's got a home run for the Rangers. Ooh, and Vlad Guerrero is smoked to bring up Josh Hamilton. As often as Vlad gets pitched either way outside or way inside, when you're talking way inside, because there are definite extremes, I'm surprised Vlad doesn't get hit by more pitches. That's only the 5th one that's gotten him this year.
Everyone just got away from Masterson, just like it didn't appear there were. Well, in fact, I'm sure there was no intent last night. I'm sure there was no intent right there. Masterson's pitching in a close game with Hamilton coming up next. I don't think he's going to try to put someone on in that situation. Plus, there'd be no reason to do it anyway. Just one of those balls that got away.
Hamilton with the opposite field home run on the first pitch of the 2nd inning. And lines it off the glove of a diving Jason Nix. Guerrero to second. Big strides heading to 3rd. Hold your breath. He is safe.
I can't believe it. Well, I can't believe it. He's an aggressive base runner. And when I saw him going, I thought he was going to get thrown out. Throw wasn't there. It just goes to show you. An outfielder has a chance to throw someone out. It still takes a good throw and a tag before you can get him. And Vladdy, with his instincts and his aggressiveness on the bases, even without the speed that he had a few years ago, he's still able to take the extra base right here. That's pretty impressive. And he had to hold up. He had to hold up to wait to see what happened. But I think he surprised Kearns out in right field, who picked up the ball, then saw he was going, had to rush his throw, and it was off target.
Yeah, really didn't have much on it at all. And, well, it's fun when Guerrero is about halfway towards second and then, peels around second base. The length of his strides, you're like no one else is in baseball.
He never even thought about it. He knew where the ball was, and he said he's going.
I'm surprised he didn't. It's like he's going to fall over face first. He's just kind of leaning and taking those huge galloping strides. But he always maintains his balance and his composure. Always arrives with a smile. And that time safely to make it 1st and 3rd, and it's 3-0 to Nelly Cruz, who's swinging 3-0. He bounces that one barely foul. The bat is fair. Or what's left of it anyway. The ball,
look at the bat,
barely foul.
He's got the whole bat in his hand practically, except what chipped off. I think the bat that the bat boy's taken back to the dugout is the entire length of the bat. He still has the whole length. I never saw one break like that. Split right down the middle from the top.
Ended up looking like a fraternity paddle.
That's amazing.
And he almost got a double out of that. Boy, after the 3-0 swing, here's a 3-1 swing. Is Guerrero going to try out Kearns again? Nope. Hamilton, though, aggressively scoots to second base. He saw that ball come through, and off he goes.
That's good base running right there. That's a bad throw by Kearns. When you field that ball, you have a pretty good idea the guy's not going to be going from 3rd base. And what you want to do is keep the double play in order. Instead, he air mails it way over the cutoff man's head. And Josh just takes off and goes to second.
Very smart. And now Justin Smoke, even if he doesn't get a base hit right here, can boost his confidence. Oh, they're going to put him on, though, it looks like. They will not pitch to the lefty, even though he's 1 out of 28.
Well, as tough as Masterson is on right-hand hitters, they also know that he may be 1 for 28, but he's hit several balls hard in these 2 games that have been caught. And with men on 2nd and 3rd, you set up a double play and you bring up a right-hand hitter. Right-hand hitters are hitting about 70 points lower against Masterson than right-hand hitters. So that's a strategic move based on stats and pretty much common sense.
Matt Trainer will come up with the bases loaded. Let's quickly get you to our AT&T trivia question as he heads to the plate. And Tim Belcher's going to head to the mound, the pitching coach. Kinsler right now 4th in the league with that .412 on base percentage. Who's the only Ranger ever to have led the American League in on base percentage? Which, of course, over the last few years has been universally hailed as the much better stat than batting average, right? Because you mix in walks, HBPs.
Yeah, I think on-base percentage is much more meaningful than batting average.
And basically a 380 or 385 on-base percentage. That's kind of the holy grail if you're going to say a 300 batting average is what you're shooting for. If you end up at 400, that's a really good year. That's why it was insane when Barry Bonds had the on-base percentage above 500.
That's what 200 walks will do for you.
Not to mention some other things. There's strike one to Trainer. Now, Trainer, remember, hasn't played in 4 days. Benji Molina has become the starting catcher for Ron Washington. Trainer has reverted to the backup role. Tough on righties, like you said, Tag, 0-2. Trainer's got a career high 5 home runs. A lot more playing time than he thought he would have this year. Taken on the outside corner, strike 3. It'll be left to Andres Blanco. And if Blanco can't come through, what the Rangers will rue this inning. He had Cruz up 3-0. First and third, nobody out. He grounded the 3-0 pitch foul, popped at the 3-1 pitch in a short right.
And in that situation, manager, you have to let Cruz swing 3-0 right there. You've got 3 guys coming up after him that don't have as good a chance of knocking in a run as he does. He just didn't do it.
How about Blanco coming through, though? Base hits a chase home, too. His second extra base hit of the year is huge. Ron Washington insists it takes 25 men on a roster. Blanco might be the 25th guy. He just hit a 2-run double.
Well, lefties are hitting over 300. They're hitting about 320 against Masterson. And he gets the big out with the bases loaded and 1 out, and then grooves one to Blanco, who wastes no time in ripping this ball to right field. To see Julio do the same thing right here, pick up a couple more. Big 2-out hit with men in scoring position.
Blanco, who had had 1 RBI all year and 1 extra base hit all year. In place of Michael Young, that's something Mike would have done. Bourbon chops it. It is barely foul, says Bob Davidson up at third. Real close. That would have chased home 2 more. See where it goes by the bag here. It gets away, or did it hit him? It hit Bourbon in the foot. Arias will now bat with the bases loaded. Boy, an 0-2 pitch that hits Bourbon.
You'd rather see a left-hand hitter up there instead of a right-hand hitter. But a left-hand hitter down in the count 0-2 doesn't have a big advantage. And the hit by pitch is what got the inning started when he hit Vladdy. Arias has hit the ball twice back to the pitcher.
Only the second time Bourbon's been hit by a pitch all year. We mentioned both Masterson and C.J. Wilson have hit a few guys over the course of this season. 8 apiece now. 2 in this inning for Masterson. And the big guy's starting to sweat a little bit out there in a long inning. 8th man to bat is Arias. He's bounced back to Masterson twice. Blanco's already come through with a 2 RBI hit. If Arias comes through now, Ron Washington, if he wanted to, could just kind of wink and say, well, my 2 super subs, they're getting it done. Again, a lot of conversation before the game with both Andrus and Young sitting this one out. Ron Washington very confident that the guys he plays in their place can produce. Three and 2, the runners will all get going now.
That's a good pitch to take right there. Now you get the runners running. And there's a great chance you're going to see the exact same pitch if it's a strike, because he doesn't want to walk you. Arias has only walked once, 76 at bats.
Hammers it towards center field, but right there is Brantley. Rangers leave him loaded, but they score twice thanks to Andres Blanco. Michael Young's fill-in tonight. It is 3-1. TNT about on-base percentage. .412, a real good on-base percentage. Who's the only Ranger to lead for an entire season? That would be Milton Bradley just a couple of years ago. I still think it's amazing guys that had 500s for on-base percentage. Williams and Mantle each went over 557. Barry Bonds did it 3 out of 4 years at one point. C.J. Wilson's going to face Jason Donald here to start the top of the 5th. And in the top of the 5th inning, Steve Busby joins us. You will see him on Rangers Live when this ball game is over, breaking down whatever has happened at that point. And there's been some exciting things to talk about in this one, Buzz, with C.J. Wilson getting out kind of wobbly, gave up a long home run to Jason Nix. And things have looked a lot better since then.
Well, yeah, and last time out, Josh, remember he gave up a first-inning run to the Angels, too, and then really settled down. And you kind of see the same thing tonight. Although, you know, this Cleveland club, despite being hit by pitches, is pretty pesky. I mean, they're not, you know, they're a bunch of guys that looks like that just don't have a care in the world. They're out there playing and having fun and beating some pretty good people.
We talked about Wilson and Masterson pretty much right off the jump being among the league leaders in HBPs. They've each hit 2 tonight now. And for CJ, I'm telling you, I don't have it. I was saying this to Tom before. It just seems like every time he hits a guy, and this goes back 3 years now, he hits a guy in the foot. I don't remember CJ other than when he hit Travis Hafner a few years ago.
Yeah.
And ended his season hitting him in the wrist. Seems like, you know, it's just stuff that he's trying to get down in the zone and just drops down too far.
He went through a streak there last year where he really had trouble throwing inside the left-handed hitters. And when he tried to, he finally stopped. And when he tried to, the ball would just run in and get away from him. But yeah, you're right. And the right-handed hitters, he buries that breaking ball down and in, and hard to get out of the way of that thing sometimes.
So Donald is on, the number 9 man with the HBP. And what about Justin Masterson? Getting a lot of ground balls for sure, but
boy, in a hurry he is. Well, the Rangers did a pretty good job against him early in the year in Cleveland, and they've done a pretty good job here tonight trying to make him get the ball up just a little bit. And I think Blanco's double to right field, the big 2-run double, really shows you what you can do, especially a left-handed hitter. Masterson's going to have a lot more problems with left-handers than he is with right-handers, because that slider just isn't as effective against the left-handers from where he throws it.
How about Blanco, by the way? Guy hardly ever plays.
Man.
Steps in there for Michael Young tonight and delivers like that.
Something else.
You go back to the '96 season. I wasn't here for that, Buzz, but everybody raves about the contributions that year from the guys that weren't the big name guys.
Yeah.
No matter who you put in there, they would come through when they were asked to do so. And you're starting to get that sense a little bit how things are going this year for the Rangers. The Warren Newsons, the Craig Worthingtons that year.
Yep.
Could be the Blancos and the Ariases this year. Towards first, and Smoke has got it. Arias will have his chance here. Wilson to the bag, but not in time to get the speedy Michael Brantley.
That's a tough double play. The 3-6-1 double play. Buzz, was that a tough double play for you?
Oh, yeah.
To get to first base on the run?
Yeah.
What makes that such a hard play for a pitcher?
Well, unless you really get a good jump, Tom, to first base, you're almost trying to take a throw on the run and trying to catch a throw from second and trying to find the bag at the same time is really tough. I don't care how often you go over that in spring training. In spring training is easy.
Yeah.
The fielding.
Not much pressure in spring training.
No, and you always have time to get to the bag first and set up like a first baseman. But, as sure as you get into a ball game and everything you tried in spring training goes out the window. It doesn't work anymore. But, yeah, that's a tough one. Always kind of rooting for the first baseman to have time to get back himself.
Well, you can't look for the bag, otherwise you won't find the ball.
Yeah.
So you pretty much have to know where the bag is, I guess.
But it's one thing having a little underhanded toss when you're trying to cover first base from the first baseman. You get a good armed shortstop down there, and he's firing a bullet at you to try and complete the double play. You're taking your life into your own hands.
And not every shortstop, from what I gather, throws a straight fastball. Sometimes it's like a slider coming in there that you got to try to catch. One of the hot hitters for Cleveland at the plate, Jason Nix, the Dallas resident. Well, he was something yesterday, huh? 2 home runs.
Well, he didn't. Not too shabby his first time up. Same pitch. I think you could probably put all 3 of the pitches that he hit out of the ballpark in a teacup.
You can. Held high inside half of the plate.
Trying to get fastballs in that just didn't quite get there. That was a good move.
Got him picked off. Michael Brantley's in the rundown. CJ tags him going by. A little hook shot from CJ back to Justin Smoke. It goes 1-3-6-1.
Whoops.
Oh, darn. Don't you hate it when that happens?
He had a good jump.
Yeah, he did.
I don't know if we'll stay on the shot long enough here, but after CJ gets it and tags him, he's just going to over his shoulder with it here. He's going to toss it.
Throwing grenades.
Right. And now Nix will pop one up.
Turned it into a quick inning.
Real nice inning. And Buzz, Rangers Live, we'll see you after the game for that.
We will be talking
one of your better innings of the year, Buzz.
Thank you.
Really nice job, Buzz.
Been working on that. Thanks. I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
3-1 Rangers tonight here at the ballpark. against the Orioles. You can get $10 tickets, $5 parking, courtesy of Verizon Wireless. Post-game fireworks set to 60s music this time. Log on to TexasRangers.com and enter Verizon's coupon code to buy your tickets now. That's sponsored by Jack FM. Kinsler 1 out of 2 will lead things off in the bottom of the 5th. And Andres Blanco, 2-run double, has the Rangers on top 3-1. Again, nights off tonight for Andrews and Young. Inside, there was almost a 5th hit batsman of the game in 5 innings.
Yeah, generally, Guerrero and Hamilton are the ones that are finishing off the rallies. They were the ones that set up that rally.
And Arias almost punctuated that whole thing with another hit with the bases loaded, but that liner to center was flagged down.
Yeah, he hit it hard, but right straight at the center fielder.
The other run with the Josh Hamilton homer. Josh will not be participating in the home run derby. Neither will Vlad Guerrero. Vladdy won it in 07. And Josh turned everybody's heads in 08. Wave and a miss. Kinsler down on strikes. We are starting to get, though, Tag, some commitments for the home run derby.
Who we got?
Well, so far, looks like you're David Ortiz. You're Miguel Cabrera.
That's a good start.
Robinson Cano. And Arlington's own Vernon Wells.
Interesting.
To join Corey Hart of the Brewers and Matt Holliday of the Cardinals. 2 more guys TBA. Base hit. Vlad Guerrero ripped in a left.
He was hit me, I'll hit you.
Right, he was drilled by a pitch last inning. This time he drills Masterson. Vladdy's saying that after he won that home run derby, he was probably 50 at-bats until his next actual home run, and he didn't want to do that anymore.
Yeah, I think for certain guys it does throw you off. It lasts so long, so many swings, and you're not taking normal swings. You're hitting batting practice soft pitches, and I think you can develop an uppercut. You're trying to pull the ball usually. You're trying to hit it out of the park every time. If it's just 5 or 6 swings, it's one thing at the end of batting practice, but if you go on to the next round, you take who knows how many swings. That's a lot of swings, and you can ingrain yourself with a bad habit.
Josh Hamilton finally exhausted himself in that home run derby at Old Yankee Stadium after a first round that, I mean, you talk about getting in a groove and just staying there. 28 first round home runs. Opposite field approach again. He hit one out to left earlier. This is just fly ball. It was tracked down by Crow. Do you know that those fly balls to left are also tracked by a guy named Crow? Phil Crow, our cameraman, will follow that ball to left field, and it's Crow on Crow. There is Phil.
Trevor Crow misses a lot more than Phil Crow does, I'll tell you that.
Nelson Cruz, who had a 3-run homer called back yesterday. Whoa! A fan tumbled out, and I pray that he's okay. Foul ball getting to the upper deck. I am so glad we didn't see that.
I'm so glad I didn't see it.
Oh my. They're going to stop the game here right now. Foul ball off the bat of Nelson Cruz heading into the crowd.
That's when you, I'm glad I didn't see it.
Such a rare thing, thankfully. Oh, my goodness. I think the umpires are going to have the team simply go off the field right now.
That's all you can do right now.
They're going to have to get some medical attention to the fan that took the tumble. Reaching out, trying to get the foul ball. And it simply seemed like a fan losing his balance. And the Rangers certainly here at the ballpark, the ballpark personnel will scramble to get to the very best medical attention on site. I'm sure it's already there, but they'll do everything they can now to provide the help that's necessary. They're concerned, obviously, not only for the fan that fell, but the fans below. We will take a break. And obviously, I'm sure all of you are just like us here in the booth, just praying. 3-1 Rangers here in the bottom of the fifth. Concern right now, a foul ball that was hit about midway up by Nelson Cruz here with 2 out in the 5th inning, and well, you see it all the time. A fan will reach for a ball with every good intention, and a fan so unfortunately just reached a little bit too far and took a tumble from the mezzanine area. That was I wouldn't even hazard a guess, Tom, how far a drop that is. And the rescue personnel were right on the scene. They did everything they could to scramble and get there. All the Rangers players out and looking. Some of the Indians players too. Looked like some retreated all the way into the clubhouse. And just an unbelievable, heart-wrenching thing to watch happen. My guess is that even once the fan is secured, they may wait a little while here. I mean, you see something like that, you don't just shake it off and go play ball. We'll take another break. It's the Rangers on top of Cleveland tonight, 3-1. Below that and couldn't quite do that and just continued to fall to the lower bowl. And it's just a tough scene here at the ballpark right now. They had the medical attention there right away. We wouldn't even want to try to guess what the condition of the fan is, a male fan. It appeared that the few fans that absorbed that fall, it looked like they might be okay. And Tim Cheetah's a crew chief here. This is just something that I'm sure even this veteran umpire doesn't have a whole lot of experience with. Where do you go from here? Nolan Ryan now will weigh in.
I'm sure they're discussing if they're going to resume the game or not.
There's nothing in any handbook or guidebook or rule book that tells you what to do in a situation like this.
No.
Resuming in a few minutes seems to be what's being discussed, but giving everybody, I think, the few minutes necessary just to get your mind right. Fortunately, it's just something you really never see at baseball stadiums or football stadiums. When something is supposedly glorious as catching a foul ball. It's the dream when you come to a ball game. Chuck Morgan's making an announcement right now. 5 minutes. They're going to give everybody 5 minutes to collect themselves, and play will resume then. It's 3-1 Rangers. We're in the bottom of the 5th, and we'll take another break and come back and get you ready for the start of baseball once again. The umpires are ready to resume things again here in the bottom of the 5th inning. The Rangers on top of Cleveland 3-1. And obviously, if we get any update on the fan that fell in pursuit of that foul ball, we will pass it to you. But for all these players, for all these fans right now, for the umpires and anyone in this ballpark right now, to try to move forward right now is what needs to be done. Justin Masterson is on the mound. There's a runner at first. And that ball getting away from Santana. Guerrero into second base. He had singled with 1 out in the inning. That's going to go with either a wild pitch or a pass ball.
Laddie again showing the good instincts. As soon as that ball bounced away from the catcher, in an instant he was on his way to second base, and I've got another man in scoring position.
Looks like a pass ball.
Yeah, it'll be a pass ball.
a chance for Nelly Cruz now to knock one home. A little base hit somewhere. Already 3-1 Rangers. Been a Josh Hamilton homer tonight. And the big hit was from Andres Blanco, playing in place of Michael Young. It was officially a 16-minute delay, by the way. And what an amazing job by the medical personnel to scramble and get there. Base hit for Nelly. Vladdy coming around. And he's going to try it. And he is tagged out. He is always aggressive, sometimes to a fault. It got him third base earlier tonight. He took second on the pass ball. This time trying to score from second on a single to left. It doesn't work. The bottom of the fifth now is in the books. Rangers leading 3-1. On Fox Sports Southwest, brought to you by the Ford F-150. Ford is the best in Texas, and by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com, grab your bag. It's on. C.J. Wilson so far a two-hitter. One of those two hits was a home run by the very hot right now Jason Nix. A single by Shelley Duncan lined into left, the only other Indians hit. And C.J. over the last several, rounding right back to where he was back in April, it seems, Tag.
Yeah, C.J.'s after he gave up the home run. He's only walked one batter, struck out 3.
Tough part of the lineup right here, 3, 4, 5 with Santana, Kearns, and Peralta.
Actually, he's walked 2 batters. He walked Santana in the first. He walked Nix in the third.
We saw Santana homer as a lefty yesterday. He's yet to get the ball out of the infield as a right-hand swinger against CJ tonight. Gets it out of the infield, but it's not really happening for him anyway. Bourbon will make the catch. Now, CJ last time out, 5 2/3 innings of 5-hit, 2-run baseball. Pitched well enough to win, but Jared Weaver just outdueled him that night.
And 3 of his last 5 starts, he's gone 7 innings to give up his 2 runs. Went 6 innings in another, 5 2/3 in his last start.
And Justin Masterson obviously has been doing a decent job himself as well. The Rangers got him in the 4th inning, got the 2 runs in and threatened for more. They sent 8 to the plate.
They took a great play, great play by Santana on that throw home to get Vladimir at the plate too. It was a nice play.
We'll get you an update in a little bit. See if the rain has stopped in Chicago. That's where the Angels are tonight. There's a walk to Austin Kearns. So 3 walks now for CJ. Chance to get out of the inning, though, still with a double play. Peralta coming up. As Peralta comes to the plate, we'll send it out to Emily Jones.
Well, guys, as we try to return to normal, I'm here to remind you to check out FoxSportsSouthwest.com. Got a couple of interviews with some NFL rookies, Sam Bradford and Des Bryant, up on the side. Obviously, our thoughts and prayers with the family of the fan here at the Rangers game. Of course, as you guys have said, we'll keep you posted on anything that we hear on our end.
Thank you, Emily. And some of the reaction shots that we showed you from the players. And Trevor Crow out there in left field turned away and in prayer, and we saw a lot of other fans in the ballpark just doing the same thing, sending as much positive energy out there as you can, is all you can do. Peralta behind in the count, 1-2. 1 of 12 in his career against CJ, and we talked about this yesterday, Tom. Candidate to hit into a double play. He gets a lot of sharp grounders to the left side. You got newbies over there tonight. It's not Andrews and Young, it is Arias and Blanco. Elvis a little bit dinged up. And just a night off for him to get his body right. Michael Young, Ron Washington said, just want to make sure Michael got one game that he's not starting before the All-Star break. And tonight was going to be the night. So the chance for Blanco and the chance for Arias. They comprise that left side of the Ranger infield. (9-3) Cleveland yesterday, 3-1 Rangers tonight. The Rangers have scored exactly 3 runs now in each of their last 5 games. No more, no less. Count stays 2-2. CJ taking something off of that. Fly ball instead of the ground ball. That takes off pretty well. Bourbon all the way back near that Snapple sign to make the catch. One more hurdle to clear, though, to get through the 6, and it's the guy that's hit the ball hard twice tonight, Shelley Duncan. So the Angels and the White Sox are underway after a rain delay. They're in the first, and it's scoreless. Jake Peavy on the mound for Chicago tonight, trying to keep the Angels from gaining some ground or even staying with the Rangers if the Rangers end up winning tonight. Three-and-a-half game lead for the Rangers coming in. Finale of this series is tomorrow. A 7:05 first pitch. Colby Lewis and Mitch Talbot, guys that have won 7 and 8 games respectively.
Yeah, 2 guys that you wouldn't have known were going to be pitching as well as they were, as well as they are at the beginning of the season, that's for sure.
What do Millwood and Greinke have? Like 4 wins combined, and you got Colby and Mitch Talbot with 15.
Yeah, the Rangers were hoping that Colby could come in and pick up the innings from Kevin, and he's done more than that. He's picked up the innings, and they've been quality innings to go along with it.
So good pitch right there on a guy that's been hitting him hard tonight. 1-2.
From the Indians' point of view on Talbot, he came over in a trade with Tampa Bay. He's pitched great. Giving him innings, 102 innings, 16 starts, pitching deep into games. ERA under 4. Can't ask for much more than that.
There's that one that kind of jumps down towards the right-hand hitter. I'm talking about when CJ hits a batter. A lot of times it's with that pitch. It's happened twice tonight.
101 pitches for CJ.
Well, he's picked a man off tonight, and that's helped. He's fielded his position well, and a couple of comebackers. Inside corner struck him out, and C.J. Wilson is now through 6 with a 3-1 lead, working on a 2-hitter. Pot tonight worth $400. In it for 2 at Sonic. Good luck to Sherry Allums of First. If a Ranger hits the grand slam this inning, we're giving away $25,000. There was, if you're just joining us, a 16-minute delay at the ballpark tonight, and something that we're just not going to even speculate on, folks. We are so hopeful, obviously, praying and hoping that a fan that tumbled out of the second deck down into the lower bowl in pursuit of a foul ball, an accident in the truest sense of the word. We can't speculate, and I hope you all understand that. It would be unfair to do so. If we hear anything, we'll let you know if we do know something. And obviously it's a very different feeling at the ballpark. Almost indescribable. The umpires, I think, very wisely held the teams off the field. Everybody collected themselves. Even the players that didn't see what happened. Once you find out something like that has happened, then you want to take time to just pray and hope. So thank you, folks, in advance for your patience and understanding. These players just trying to finish up here. It's the bottom of the 6th, and Justin Smoke will take a walk to get the bottom of the 6th going in. The Rangers trying to extend a 3-1 lead. They trailed 1-0 tonight. Jason Nix with another home run. He's got 3 in 2 games here. That gave the Indians the early jump tonight. Hamilton tied it with a homer, bottom 2. And then Andres Blanco with the big hit tonight. 2 RBI double to right.
It looked like the Rangers were going to get another one in the 5th, but Cruz hit his ball hard for a base hit. Crow fielded it, threw home, and they were able to get Vladdy at the plate. But it took a good throw and took kind of a tough bounce. Nice play by Santana to catch it on the bounce and make the tag. Otherwise, the Rangers would have had another run.
Trainer with a walk and a strikeout tonight. Again, it's a night where Benji Molina, if you consider him a starter now, and Michael Young and Elvis Andrus are all out. So 3 starters not playing at the beginning of the game tonight. The Rangers still leading 3-1. Trainer hits it slowly to short. The flip to second base, and that's all they'll get. They barely got that.
Yeah, they're lucky to get that. It was a daring play, but they got the lead runner.
Masterson's at only 87 pitches. And you figure he's a good bet for the 7th inning. You're not as sure about C.J. Wilson because he's up over 100.
Darren Oliver's throwing, so you may be right.
This will be the second 2-hitter for C.J. in about 6 innings of work in the last 3 weeks. He had that in Miami, too. Colby Lewis had the full-on 2-hitter against the Houston Astros.
And if this is it for CJ, he will have broken his streak of 2 earned runs in 5 straight games in a good way, though. Had one with 1 run now.
Runner goes, and Blanco fouls it back. Mentioned the Angels and White Sox are now underway. No score there. Orioles lead the Tigers 4-2 in the 8th inning. Baltimore starting to play better. They're just about to come here for 4. Remember, the Indians started to play better right before they came here. And tore up the Rangers last night 9-3. Rays over the Red Sox tonight 2-1. As that game moves to the 8th. Joaquin Benoit now on the mound for Tampa Bay. The former Rangers had some kind of first season in Tampa.
Yes, pitching like he did when he was the Ranger pitcher of the year.
Blanco rips another one. Now Blanco's very close to being 3 for 3. He was robbed of a hit in the 2nd inning by Peralta over there at 3rd, and now he goes to right field a couple times. A 2 out of 3 game for Blanco.
Had 2 well hit balls too. Hard hit double, and this is a hard hit single. He takes advantage of a pitch right down the middle of the plate, smokes it. Big swing, hard hit ball.
Nice job by Trainer to stay out of the way of it. You mentioned Oliver, ready in the pen. Two on, 1 out, and Bourbon will take a strike on the inner half. He was hit by a pitch on an 0-2 count last time up. That batting average, which came so close to hitting 300, has now tumbled down to 279. Chop towards right. Base hit for Bourbon. Trainer is held up by Dave Anderson at 3rd. And in this sonic slam inning, you got a chance to give away some serious money right now. $25,000. The bases are loaded. Isn't it something how many times Blanco and Arias are batting with a bunch of guys on tonight?
And there wasn't much they could do to try to score the run. Kearns is not playing deep in right field. He's charging the ball well. When he picks it up, he's just barely behind second base, so it would have been a short throw as well. And with only 1 out, got a pretty good contact hitter in Arias up there. Drove the ball to center field his last time up. Rather than risk having a runner thrown out at the plate with 1 out, let Arias drive the ball back through the middle and knock in one of his own.
Tim Belcher out to talk to Masterson. Amber's getting up in the bullpen for Cleveland. Joaquin, for the second straight at bat, will come up with the bases loaded. I'm going to check on this, but I don't think he had a single bases loaded at bat all year before tonight. Now he's looking at 2 of them. I'll check that. He did have a couple before tonight. Swinging right away. It's something he never does. And Joaquin Arias is going to bring home at least 2. Make it 3. Joaquin Arias gets it done.
Well, I tell you what, you got to be feeling pretty good now if you're on Washington, the way you made the lineup card out tonight. You got a 3-run double and a 2-run double from both guys that you gave a spot start to tonight. What a night for the manager.
Any fan, and I'm sure there were a lot of them walking around going, wait a minute, what? You're going to sit Young and Andrews both? Well, the 2 replacements have 5 runs batted in. That's as many as they had had all year combined. Arias had had 4. Blanco would have had 1. And the 2 of them have combined for 5 runs batted in tonight off of a guy who's been pitching pretty well of late, Justin Masterson.
Yeah, and hopefully the Rangers will hang on to this type of a lead, and Michael and Elvis can have a full day off. They won't have to come into the game late.
1 out of every 15 at bats does Joaquin Arias swing at the first pitch statistically. He did it right there and hit a bases loaded double. We're back in just a moment. A bases loaded double to knock in 3. And a Verizon wireless call to the bullpen. They're going to get Hector Ambrose into the game. We saw him for a little bit last night, too, to finish up. The Indians used 5 pitchers yesterday. Ambrose was the last one. He has walked 10 in 25 innings and has allowed 3 home runs. He's about to face some home run threats: Kinsler, Guerrero, and Hamilton. The Rangers with 3 runs in the bottom of the 6th. Started with a walk taken by Justin Smoke. That'll be kind of a forgotten element to this inning, but Smoke, even though he's having such a tough time getting hits of late, he's still getting on base with the walk. He leads all American League rookies in walks by a few now.
Close little play at second base right there. That throw was perfect on the shortstop side of second base might have a shot.
Kinsler fouls it away. Rangers with 1 in the second, 2 in the fourth, and 3 in the sixth. Scoring in the even-numbered innings tonight, after the Indians scored once in the top of the first on the long home run by Jason Nix. Check swing by Kinsler. And even though he struck out twice tonight, more walks than strikeouts for the year, which is something that Kinsler has never come close to doing in the big leagues before. That's a big stride here. At the age of 28. We were talking earlier, Tom, about Kinsler's on-base percentage. .412 this year, one of the top totals in the AL. Last year it was .327.
As we were talking about in the pregame show, it just shows the kind of talent that Ian has, that you could make that dramatic an improvement. And very seldom do you see in 1 year a guy dramatically turn around his walk totals the way he has and increase his on-base percentage by whatever it is, 80 or 90 points. Now, there's a long way left in the season, but still it's over 200 at bats that he's done that. It's pretty nice.
Kinsler to short. And a wide throw, but he's tagged out. Arias has to stay put. Vlad Guerrero steps in, and Tom, right now we are getting what I consider to be fabulous news buzzed into us. The fan that took that tumble is stabilized.
Great.
Is responsive. Moving all extremities.
Wow.
And is that John? It is a miracle. I mean, that is absolutely a miracle. John Peter Smith Hospital is where he's been taken. And again, what we're hearing right now is that fan is responsive and is able to move all extremities.
That is unbelievable news.
There were 4 other people that were hurt, and they're being treated here at the ballpark. And you
That's
can only
pretty amazing too.
Well, and you know what? In a weird way, the amazing part might be that, you know, when you just look at how that happened and what happened, that the fact that there was something or some ones to fall on, even though obviously you're hoping those other people are okay too. That might have cushioned that blow. Vlad Guerrero to left. Gone. 8-1.
Yeah, Vlad had been a little bit quiet until he got drilled by the pitch in the 4th inning. And since then, it's been a hard hit single to left and a long home run to left center. It would have been a real good idea to let that pitch get away and hit Vladdy with it. Not that it was on purpose, and I'm sure Masterson had absolutely no intent there. But since that time where he was hit by the pitch, it's been base hit, long home run.
And he retakes a major league lead and runs batted in now. That's 72. Hamilton will be the final out. Again, once again, just amazing news for now. The fan that fell stabilized, responsive, and being tended to at a local hospital. That is great to know. 8-1 Rangers at the end of 6. Hamilton a homer tonight. Guerrero's up to 19 homers, 72 runs batted in. Last year he was 15 homers and 50 runs batted in. A crowd of about 20,000 watching the Rangers tonight. Watching Darren Oliver take over on the mound now. C.J. Wilson, wow, 6 innings, 2 hits. One of those, a long home run by Jason Nix. And to C.J.'s credit, he just shook that off and went on with his night.
He made a lot of good pitches, had good off-speed pitches tonight. Good breaking balls, good changeup. Darren Oliver having an excellent season, pretty obviously. More strikeouts than innings pitched, not many walks. Tough to hit.
And the Rangers, who have been stuck on that number 3 for 4 straight games, they only scored 3 tonight until that 5-run bottom of the 6th. So the run support is there for CJ. Now if the bullpen does its job, the Rangers square this series and get to 49 and 34. Oliver trying to bust Marte in a couple times. Once again, if you went away from the broadcast, the fan that was injured earlier tonight, the wonderful news that we get in now is that the fan is at a local hospital and he's been stabilized and he's responsive. I think the Rangers, the umpires, everybody here tonight did as good a job with all that as possible. That ball fisted in the shallow right. Kinsler fading back on it, and that thing's just going to plop down in right field in front of Nelson Cruz. Only the 3rd hit of the night for the Indians, and it comes to lead off the 7th inning. As acrobatic as Kinsler has been at times this year, Tag, I'd have thought that maybe he'd somehow sprint back and get that one. But
yeah, even Ian couldn't get to that one. That was just one that was dropped right between Nelly and Ian. Neither one of them had a shot at it.
You know, Ian is 2nd among American League second basemen in fielding percentage right now. Kind of an underreported thing. It's been 27 games since his only error. And let's think about that one for a moment, because, you know, for those that looked at Kinsler and what he was and wasn't, that was one of the things, obviously, that his detractors would point to and say, well, you know, he makes a bunch of errors every year. This year he's made 1.
Well, it just shows you that the talent that he has, that he could come into the season and people that would critique performance would say they'd like to see him get on base more often. And let's face it, the errors that he made, most of them were careless errors. He's got the talent to make every play. Going back into the outfield on a pop-up, charging the ball left, right. He's got great range, strong arm, turn a double play. There's no play he can't make. And occasionally he would make a careless mistake. So he's eliminated the careless mistakes at second base. He's only made 1 error, continues to make all the great plays. And instead of just improving his on-base percentage, he's among the top 5 in on-base percentage. So that's addressing a couple of areas with pretty fantastic results.
Which is all you can ask. I mean, if somebody's going to give you an honest critique, whether it's Ron Washington or Clint Hurdle, and say this is what you need to get better at. If you get better at it, I mean, nothing else to say at that point.
And it's not like it's something that was keeping Ian from being a good player. He's already an all-star player. But the point is, even all-star players have areas that they can improve on to become even better. And he's done that. And he's an all-star again.
Twelfth pitch from Oliver this inning, still looking for his first out. Maybe he'll get 2, 6, 4, 3. Did it! Double play. And Joaquin Arias finally getting a chance to play a little Ranger shortstop. And he's been flawless there tonight. And he's delivered a key hit at the plate.
Yep, just looked good doing it. Gets the ball there quickly to Ian, who does exactly what we said. Turns a double play with a strong arm. Pretty fast runner, too.
Jason Donald, like Ian Kinsler, spent some time at the University of Arizona. Came over in the Cliff Lee deal from Philadelphia. There will be perhaps another Cliff Lee deal coming up. Cliff Lee now for Seattle. 6 walks, 89 strikeouts. There will be some teams that will put their hands in the air and say, yeah, we could use that. Rip and a miss. A cagey veteran hitting the head of Donald 1-2. White Sox have taken a 1-0 lead on the Angels in the second. The White Sox, who started 24-33 this year, trying to grab a share of first place now in the AL Central.
The interesting part of that is Tony Peña's in the game pitching in the second inning.
That's weird.
Peña was supposed to start.
7th inning stretch, Rangers lead by 7. Brought to you by your Texas Chevy dealers, proud sponsor of Texas baseball, and by the Texas Department of Transportation. Want to win a fuel-saving hybrid? Easy to enter at drivecleanacrosstexas.org. Nelson Cruz begins it for the Rangers, bottom 7. And the Rangers lead by 7 tonight. They had the big 5-run 6th. Justin Masterson was the Cleveland starter. Ambers is now on in his place. Here's your up-to-date Jack-in-the-Box AL West standings board. The White Sox. And yeah, they were supposed to have Jake Peavy pitching tonight, Tom. Not sure what happened there. They're now leading 1-0 over the Angels. Rangers up 3.5. Nice feeling being in first place. A Ranger team that hasn't been to the playoffs in 11 years. And only 3 times ever. David Murphy had a comment on that, our Geico quote of the night. Yep, whoever's in first on October 3rd. We'll talk about it then, right?
And that's the attitude you have to have as a player. You start thinking that you've got something attained when you're only halfway there. Might keep you from attaining it.
Deep drive, Nelson Cruz, been a while, home run.
Well, Nelly's timing has been off just a tick, but based on the last 2 at-bats, it might be starting to return. A hard hit single And now he reaches out and drives it 400 feet out of the ballpark to dead center field. So I'd say it's starting to come back a little bit. The Rangers have launched 3 home runs. Last night it was the Indians' turn to go long ball. Tonight it's the Rangers' turn.
Cruz had one called back, remember, yesterday. Overturned because of replay, but this one is not coming back. It's his long-awaited 11th of the year. Remember, Nelly started the year with 7 homers in his first 11 games. He was the talk of the majors at that point. Oh, that poor little kid got boxed out by the big guy.
I hope he's proud of himself. Maybe he got himself a $2 souvenir.
Oh, we just found out he gave him the ball, though. That's good. That's good. Can't blame a fan for wanting to grab the home run.
He did the right thing.
As long as the little guy ends up with it, I'm good, right?
Yep.
Smokes fouls it right back. Well, what a turnaround tonight. The Rangers yesterday in a slow-moving ball game where they just kind of couldn't get out of their own way. Lost giving up 9 runs. Tonight, they're the ones with 9. And they're coasting here in the 7th inning. 9 straight runs after Jason Nix hit the 12th pitch of the game out. And Frankie Francisco getting ready. Smoke will rip one into center, and hopefully that'll get him going now.
That's the second hard hit ball he's hit tonight. First time up, he hit a hard ball back to the pitcher, and he walked a couple of times and hit another ball back to the middle hard, just like he did last night. Same kind of a line drive.
And this is what Ron Washington was hoping for, I think, Tom. You know, you give Andrus and Young the night off, and you say, well, you know, if we need them, we'll go get them. But the hope was that you won't need them at any point tonight, and right now it's shaping up like you won't. Trainer able to check his swing. Twins beat the Blue Jays 7-6. Again, a 3-team dogfight in the AL Central. High pop foul by Trainer. Right over near that railing. Marte's got him. Made a nice play. Blanco comes up next in our Coors Light freeze cam. Blanco delivered really the key hit of the game. It was 1-1 when he stepped up. And he produced.
Yeah, that put the Rangers ahead by 2. And then the next big hit was the one that Arias had. Put the Rangers up by 5.
Call them the replacements.
2 spot starters got the job done, boy.
Again, they had come in combined with 5 runs batted in all year. They've got 5 together tonight.
And then wouldn't you know, the big guys just had to copy him.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other kind of salient point tonight. I mean, that's wonderful that Arias and Blanco have done that. But also homers from the big boys, Cruz, Hamilton, and Guerrero.
Yeah, that's good to see, too.
Blanco, the native Venezuelan from Moron, Venezuela, which unfortunately is spelled M-O-R-O-N. Doesn't mean the same thing in Spanish. Former Cub, former Royal. Bidding for his 3rd hit of the night, Andres Blanco. And this very easily, Tag, could have been a 4-hit night. He was robbed in the second inning by Peralta.
Yeah, you'd love to see a player who's works hard, and both Blanco and Arias work hard. Blanco sometimes puts the catcher's gear on and helps out before the game with catching assignments. They both take extra ground balls. They both take extra batting practice, waiting for a chance to play. And so it's really nice when you see them get their chance to take advantage of it and have a nice night like this. It just, they're a big part of the team, but when you have a big night like this, it just makes you feel even more a big part of the team, contributing to a good team success. Good night for him.
Going to be a daddy within the next couple of weeks.
That's a real good night there.
Yeah, he's looking so forward to that. Here's Bourbon with a couple on, 1 out. And the Rangers in a position now just to pour it on, already up 9-1. In the very capable hands of the bullpen after C.J. Wilson went 6 real good innings, allowing only 2 hits. Going to get that ERA down about 3.2. Slowly hit to first, and the only thing for Marte to do is go to his own base. By the way, for Blanco, the 3 hits tonight ties the career high. He's done it 3 other times. And now Arias. And boy, if he had come up and hit that ball in the 4th inning that he hit just a little to the left or to the right of Brantley, we could be talking about a 5 or 6 RBI night tonight.
Well, you got a chance to have a 5 RBI night right now with a base hit.
One thing Joaquin has never had in the big leagues is a home run. Got 180 at bats now. He had 7 in AAA in 08. That's the most he's had in 1 year. Getting it done at the plate and in the field, too. The Home Depot doing more on defense. Before his shoulder injury, this is a guy that could really throw. And hasn't had to really air it out tonight, but he's handled himself very well. Outside 2-1. Ambrose has thrown a lot of pitches here in a couple innings. The double with the bases loaded was Arias' first extra base hit since April. And only his 4th all year. I'm trying to pick up a couple of runners with 2 out. Slowly hit. Bidding for a 4 RBI game. He's got it. He had never had a 3 RBI game until tonight. 4 for Joaquin Arias. The Rangers get to double digits, and you figure, Tag, that this little rut they were in, scoring only 3 runs 4 games in a row, is not something that was going to keep on keeping on.
Not with the hitters the Rangers have in their lineup. We'll go through little spells like that, but you're right, they won't last very long. There's too many good hitters in the lineup.
Antlers from Arias, something we don't get to see that often.
That's great.
Now you feel like you're one of the guys.
Absolutely.
Kinsler with a foul. Well, if you didn't know Arias before tonight you do know Jack. So he introduces himself to Ranger fans that, frankly, I think a lot of them probably forgot he was on the team. Ambers to Kinsler inside, with Vlad Guerrero waiting his turn next. Vladdy's already got a homer tonight. Again, Hamilton's got one and Cruz has got one. Heading up the middle. Cut off. And a great play. Marte's nowhere near the bag, though.
Almost threw in out of first base.
Marte, I think, just figured there's no way anybody gets that ball, and then he just started groping around with his feet for that base. He was nowhere near it.
2 straight infield hits drive in a run.
2 more hits for Ian tonight. He's now hitting .390 in the last 4 weeks. And Vlad Guerrero's coming up with 2 men on.
He almost threw him out. Ian must have thought it was a base hit, too. He just sneaks in there. Beat the foot to the bag.
If the bases were 87 feet apart, that's an out. But Marte was kind of a pedestrian there for a moment. 11-1, and Vladdy can come up now and just make it even more obnoxious tonight. Already a 10-run lead.
Rangers returning the favor from last night with an offensive explosion here tonight.
Rafael Perez has gotten up in the Cleveland bullpen. You figured that was just a matter of time. Ambers struggling here in this 7th inning. Last inning gave up a home run to Guerrero. Now he's got to face him again. Your Coors Light cold hard blast from Big Bad Vlad Guerrero. That's a pretty one right there. The Rangers with 8 runs in now in the last inning and 2/3. Hamilton looks like he's done for the night. Murphy has moved on deck. Should be a straight up swap into left field. Tempted, but he did not swing. 3-1. Rangers with 15 hits tonight.
I don't think he wants Vlad to hit a home run this time by the looks of those pitches.
But Vlad really wants to hit a home run, so he's going to
keep that bat going. Maybe he'll throw one closer to the plate.
Already with the one he's got tonight, 19 for the year. 2 behind Josh's hit number 21. Runners go. Vlad down on strikes. But the Rangers with another big inning. Big night for Joaquin Arias. Drives in another, and Nelly Cruz hit a home run that inning. It's 11-1. Chevy is a proud sponsor of youth baseball programs throughout the state of Texas. If you'd like to learn more about Chevy's commitment to youth league baseball, go to ChevyTexasBaseball.com. David Murphy does get into the ball game, limbering up in left. Frankie Francisco will take over on the mound. The Rangers all over Cleveland tonight, 11-1. There was a very sobering moment at the ballpark tonight with a fan falling out of the second deck trying to get a foul ball and taking a tumble all the way down to the lower bowl. And thank goodness the news has come in that that fan is now at a local hospital in stable condition. He's responsive, moving all extremities, which if you saw it happen, and I hope not too many people did, it's amazing. It's miraculous. Michael Brantley, top of the order. And that one, well, I thought it did hit him, but I guess not. That would have been the 5th hit batsman of the game. Didn't quite get to him. Brantley, Nixon, Santana, the challenge for Frankie Francisco right now. It's an Indians team that had won 7 of 9 coming into tonight. And remember, all 3 of their top 3 hitters that were supposedly going to be there for him this year, the top third of the order, Cabrera, Sizemore, and Chu, they're all hurt. All 3 of them. So they go with a younger team. They've been winning of late. Again, 7 out of 9 before tonight. Nice job by Brantley. Stays with it, pegs it in the left. His first hit of the night. Only the 4th for the Indians. The Rangers have 15. We go to Jim Knox.
All right, Josh, Progressive fan. The game has to be Brody Ray, 9-year-old Brody Ray from Midland. Last Nelson Cruz home run ball, he went there and kind of went face first in the rail, but he's okay. And now you get the Progressive bag, you get the hat, you get the shirt, and he also got the home run ball because this nice fan, what's your name?
Nick.
Nick, don't pick on this kid anymore.
Nice job,
Nick. We're going to get after you, Nick, okay? But he got the home run ball, but you got the Progressive bag. What do you say, Brody?
Go Rangers!
That a boy.
He's got the bandits too. Way to go, Brody. Congratulations, buddy. High fives to the big guy, the big bully right here.
Nick did the right thing.
He did the right thing.
Yes, he did.
He made a good friend there.
Yeah.
Good 9-year-old friend.
Good job, Nick.
That had a real happy ending. And that, by the way, the definitive look towards Jim Knox right there that we saw from the 9-year-old fan.
Go Rangers.
Base hit to right for Nix, who just has become an almost impossible out in this series. You see he's bruised up a little bit from that scrap with Nick. They were both going for the home run ball.
Yeah, you see the ball, you go after it, you kind of lose track of who's around you, and that can happen. It's what you do after that matters. So
that's right.
Nick did the right thing. And fortunately, the little guy's okay, too.
Yeah.
Not a boy.
Well, he's got a story to tell. A ball and a tote bag now.
He may not want to watch the replay of that.
All's well that ends well.
Yes, it is.
Speaking of which, it'd be nice for Frankie Francisco to get the Rangers through the top of the 8th. And a 10-run lead here. See, now all the girls are coming over. He's in great shape now.
What you want my picture for?
Because you're famous
He's
now.
pretty happy now.
You come in from Midland, and I think that shirt will fit him real well.
There's the look for the second time.
KSSO. Outside to Santana. Frankie's not quite getting it yet. Oh, look at that trade. That's perfect. Little guy gets the ball. Big guy gets the big shirt.
Wow. What a night. What a night at the ballpark.
That's how the universe is supposed to work right there, folks.
Yes, it is. Now, that's a heartwarming night at the ballpark. Perfect.
karma has returned to
great.
Section 52. That's a strike to Santana, 3-1. Again, Frankie given a 10-run lead here. This is just supposed to be an inning where you chuck the ball reasonably down the middle and pack it in.
It's not totally out of the ordinary when you see a late inning guy come into a game that's 11-1, that's not a close game, that he struggles a little bit. They get so used to coming into close games with their adrenaline flowing that it's not unusual for that to happen.
Smoke will take that to the bag. Runners both advance. And Frankie now will take on the cleanup man, Austin Kearns. So again, the White Sox tonight with a hodgepodge of pitchers. Going to have to sub in for Jake Peavy, who did not start because of injury. They're leading the Angels at the end of 3, 1-0. The Rays beat the Red Sox 3-2. Got a home run from Carl Crawford. Another win for Jeff Neiman. Tigers have come back to tie the Orioles, Tom. It's 5-5 into the 11th, and Josh Hamilton now has company because Miguel Cabrera's hit home run number 21 as well.
I wonder if he hit it in the ninth. I think they were down by 2 in the ninth.
It's possible.
Number of MVP candidates midway through the season, that's for sure.
Boy, no kidding. 2 of them on the Rangers for sure, with Guerrero and Hamilton.
Really good players on really good teams.
Cano with the Yankees, Morneau with the Twins, Cabrera with the Tigers.
Pretty good names right there.
Tell you what, if the Reds end up making it to the playoffs, Joey Votto will get some votes in the National League, and then people will have to explain why he didn't go to the All-Star game. Of course, he's
still got a shot, though.
Yeah, he can still get voted in. Michael Young from the Rangers can still get voted in. Go to TexasRangers.com to help arrange that. Now, the control is just not there for Frankie right now. C.J. Wilson online for the win. He would go to 7-4. Justin Masterson would drop to 3-8. He gave up 7 runs in 5 1/3. Tagged, but foul.
Guy was getting out of there. I don't blame him.
Yeah, that ball had some life on it. Hard to remember that the Rangers trailed this game 1-0. Frankie with a 3-2. And he finishes off Austin Kearns. Took a while, but he got him.
That's the way to come back. Down in the count. Hard foul ball. Okay, here's another fastball. A little tipping right into the glove.
Peralta 0 for 3 tonight. Not having his best year at the plate, hitting around 250, only 5 home runs. Peralta's had a couple of really strong years. This just isn't one of them. In 2008, Peralta had more extra base hits than Alex Rodriguez did. In the left field, and Murphy will chase. Going over, going back, and he's got it. The Indians strand a couple. Bottom of the 8th coming up. It's all Rangers. It's all good. 11-1. All-Star break. The Orioles are here. The first 20,000 fans that day get an All-Star Vlad Guerrero Texas t-shirt. Compliments of Sweet Baby Ray's. There's also Dreyer's Ice Cream Sundae. Kids 13 and under get ice cream for just $1. TexasRangers.com or 972 Rangers. 2 ways to make sure you're here. 20,428 showed up here tonight on what was a stormy Tuesday afternoon. Turned into a nice night for baseball. New third baseman now for the Cleveland Indians, Anderson Hernandez. And a new pitcher as well, Rafael Perez, will take over and face David Murphy. Tom, the Rangers have sent out a release addressing the accident from earlier tonight, and I'll read it to you here. At approximately 8:30 this evening, a male adult fan fell approximately 30 feet from section 235 in the club level to the lower seating bowl below. The Rangers are monitoring reports from John Peter Smith Hospital, but at the moment all we know is that the fan got immediate attention from our staff, was able to move all his extremities, and was responsive to paramedics when the EMS workers reached him. Murphy blasting right field. It's home run derby tonight, 12-1.
Well, David's had a lot of practice against lefties this year that paid off right there. One swing, one homer.
Murphy, who was not originally in the lineup, is just stepping in for Hamilton after Hamilton's already homered. Murphy gets his chance, and tonight it's the Rangers with 4 homers instead of the Indians.
Breaking ball stays on the inner half of the plate and up, and David does the rest.
His 3rd of the year. Brings up Cruz, who's already hit number 11 tonight. And time just to finish the statement from the Rangers. 4 other individuals seated in the lower bowl were treated in the first aid area at the ballpark. None of them were transported to the hospital. Nelly Cruz flies to center. And the release continues. Clearly, our team and our fans are deeply concerned. We are prayerful and hopeful for his well-being and the others who were injured in this incident. That was released by the Rangers just a few minutes ago, and I agree that the response to that accident was just tremendous. So the paramedics were there immediately.
Well, hopefully it'll have a happy ending.
That's the continued thought.
News so far is great.
Yep. We'll continue to think those good thoughts, all of us, I'm sure, tonight. Justin Smoke will take a strike. Tomorrow night, if you'd like to be here, 7:05 first pitch with Colby Lewis throwing it. Rangers will have a chance, it would appear, to win this series 2-1. They're in real good shape tonight with 4 home runs, 12 runs overall after spotting the Indians that quick 1-0 lead. Smoke line drive left field, and now maybe Justin Smoke is really going. He had been 1 for 28, then a couple walks, and now a couple of hits.
Where there's smoke, there's fire. That's a good sign right behind him.
And that hit on 0-2 for Justin. The Angels, by the way, have now tied the White Sox. It's 1-1 in the 4th. The Yankees and A's also 1-1 in the 3rd. Some action in the Ranger bullpen after Frankie Francisco had to work a little bit to get through the 8th inning. Rangers making a roster move today. I believe that is Doug Mathis out there that's warming. He's the guy just brought up. There's a foul by Trainer. Rangers sending down Omar Beltre after he made those 2 starts, the one in Anaheim and then the one here last night. And again, the Rangers will still need a 5th starter on Saturday. Looks more and more like Matt Harrison will be that guy. The Rangers hoping to get Rich Harden back just after the All-Star break. And hoping the same thing for Derek Holland. Indeed, it is Mathis, back up from AAA today. Be a nice way to get his feet wet again in the big leagues, up 12-1. Rich Harden was out throwing some batting practice before the rain came today. On the DL with that strained glute muscle. Inappropriate for the broadcaster to say what the glute does or does not look like, but Harden says he felt great. Trainer towards third. There's one. Low throw. It skips by Marte. It looked like should have been. A double play for the Indians was not. And Blanco will get a chance to bat again. He's already got 3 hits. He's got a chance now to have a career high with 4.
Yep, got a chance to bat right-handed now.
Smoke bearing down on Nix. Yeah, just bounced right by Marte. All right, so Blanco with a rare start tonight. And no, Michael's not been taken out of the game. Elvis has not been taken out of the game. They started on the bench tonight, and without those guys, without the left side of the infield, the Rangers have 12 runs on 17 hits. Rangers live after the game, don't forget. Towards third, it will not be a 4-hit night for Blanco, but still a really nice evening for him. The Rangers with 12 on the board need 3 outs to win. By Progressive for a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. And by the Ford F-150. Check out the 2010 F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. Well, a night that had a scary, sobering moment at the ballpark with a fan falling. And again, thankfully, miraculously, we're hearing right now anyway that that fan is stable and responsive at a local hospital. We had a 16-minute delay tonight with that. And meantime, on the field, as these teams have been able to shake off that, it is a 12-1 lead for the Rangers. And Doug Mathis is back up from AAA. Omar Beltre sent down today. And he's going to try to improve upon these numbers. Those are the numbers that got him sent down in the first place. And he's trying to reestablish some things here. He'll get a chance to pitch an inning. And a very comfortable lead, obviously, on a very comfortable night at the ballpark. Four o'clock, 4:30 this afternoon. It was raining like nobody's business with wind and whether it's down trees and all kinds of things to navigate in and around Arlington. That was some kind of storm for about an hour. But we started on time and should be finishing soon. Rangers live to follow. For Ron Washington tonight, I'm sure quite gratifying. We talked about this earlier. Arias in for Andrews. Blanco in for Young. Two starters sitting down tonight, and the two replacements combined for 5 runs batted in.
Well, that's when the manager can go to bed tonight and feel really good about the way the game went today.
That's why you want to trust your bench. You know, trust the back of your bullpen, the back of your bench. There are going to be times where you need them. And tonight the Rangers doubled down, essentially. Both Arias and Blanco, and they both had essentially career nights. Don't worry, Michael Young, you're still needed. That ball popped up by Duncan. And there is Arias. Nothing wrong with his night tonight. Perfect in the field. 4 runs batted in. Doug Mathis last year quietly established a franchise record for scoreless relief innings to begin a big league career. 5 scoreless back in 08 plus 17 in 09. That's 22 before he gave up a couple runs in Oakland last August. Matter of fact, 22 scoreless innings out of a bullpen at the start of a career. That had only been done once ever in Major League history. It was done the year before. That was the A's Brad Ziegler, who had topped out all the way at 39. But Mathis did his in such fits and starts. You know, trips back and forth from the rotation, from AAA. By the time all that had happened, it was almost retroactive that you looked back and saw what it was he had done. Andy Marte 1 out of 3. And squibs it foul. Only 5 hits tonight for the Indians. 17 for the Rangers. And remember, they had had exactly 3 runs, 4 straight games, a total of 12. They got 12 tonight, 9 in the last 3 innings. Got him, Mathis with a good fastball, 92 up around his neck. And he swung right through it for strike 3. Dana Larson will be coming up very soon for Rangers Live. Let's go down to Dana right now.
Yes, indeed, and just as you have been doing all night, we certainly want to pass along any updates that we can on the young man who did fall from the stands. In fact, we hear Nolan Ryan will be addressing the media. We'll have that for you. We're going to do our due diligence on this game as well because it's turning out to be a very good one. We'll have player, manager reaction. Steve Busby will answer your Ask the Analyst questions, and of course, we'll also update the Angels of the standings. That's all coming up right after the game.
Awesome. Thank you, Dana. And yeah, that's, normally a 12-1 win. When you're in first place, that's nothing but smiles all around. But that incident, obviously, tonight Just rattled everybody here for very good reason. And yeah, the Rangers, I'm sure, eager to get everybody updated. And again, can't say enough about the job that the Rangers personnel did, that the medical personnel did. A very, very tough situation. 2-1 to Trevor Crow. Tomorrow night, Colby Lewis trying to make it 2 out of 3 for the Rangers in this series. 7:05 first pitch on a $1 hot dog night. We hope you can come on out. Then the Orioles come in starting Thursday. Slapped out of play, 2-2. C.J. Wilson will get the win to go to 7-4. 2 hits allowed and 2 hits only for C.J. tonight. Great job. And the bullpen, some shutdown relief. Towards short, ball game. And how appropriate, it's Arias that ends up with it. He had a career night. A bases loaded double. Another RBI to go with that. Blanco had a huge game too. And the replacements are quite a big part of the storyline tonight. Andrus and Young didn't play, and it didn't matter. Your final 12-1 Rangers, and Rangers Live coming up when we come back.